let's congratulate one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time on his way to the UFC Hall of Fame, fighting out of Parkland, Washington, Demetrious Johnson.
What's up, YouTube? First, we're going to be starting this video off by saying like, share, and subscribe to this video. We'll be going over the events of first, the Mighty Mouse Hall of Fame, as you see the picture right here, and then the video just ready to come up. And next we got Terrance McKinney, first round KO. They said this man has had, I believe, 7 fights in the UFC, and they said that he has not touched outside the first round. So I will explain the pros and the cons of what I like about this. And as far as MMA, I would like to know if he has any ground game, which I'm pretty sure he does, but you never know. And so then we'll get to that. And then now we got Joe Piper's win over Izzy and what that possibly means for him. They said he had from what I've seen, he had a brutal KO in the second round, as far as like he got Izzy on the ground, and then you know how it went. And then we have Alexia Grasso's KO over Maycee Barber, who and this ain't no ill thing. I understand it's part of the fight game, you know, as far as like the UFC, you know, the American fan base probably likes a little bit more trash talk, and just certain chaos within like building up the fights and stuff. So that was one other thing, but it doesn't really look too good for Maycee Barber though, as she was just talking her smack to Valentina Shevchenko. So let's get right into it.
It used to be that UFC was the best place that you could come in combat sports to make a living and be paid fairly, and now it's no longer. It's one of the worst places to go.
So first, I would love to sit up there and to say congratulations to Mr. Johnson, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, for being introduced into the Hall of Fame. I believe it was yesterday that I sat up there and I was looking and I was like, okay, you know, I seen that MMA Guru, I think, dropped a video, and he commented under the video, we need to talk or something like that. And I was like, and something around my eyes is like, okay, that certainly means something. Not meaning like the podcast will come back together for those two or anything like that, but I hope it does, so I could tune into it now that I'm into the UFC MMA space. But I'm still a Muay Thai, you know, a big Muay Thai advocate. And so, you know, when you look at the career of Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, I mean, he went up against some of the best. I understand that people may say that the era and stuff like that he was in when it comes to the UFC was kind of mellowed out and weak, but the one thing that you cannot take away from that man is simply his fight IQ, his footwork, and his defense. Those are the 3 principles, I believe, of any sports or any military world power. And what I mean by footwork as far as like military is, you know, how you travel, how you know, whether it's by air, on foot, boat, you know, whatever it is that you travel. Basketball, obviously it's a whole different game. You know, you also know what I'm talking about when I say footwork, IQ, and defense. And so Mighty Mouse has all of that. One of the fights, I think, versus Adriano Moraes, I think. I'm going to say Moraes, in one championship. I believe they said they had a trilogy fight. So, I believe Izzy won the first one, Moraes won the second one, and then Demetrious Johnson sat up there and won the third one. So that was just some of the highlights that he did. I believe that the fight with Rodtang was one of his best ever, because he went in there and, you know, he made Rodtang look very human. And it wasn't just because, you know, I mean, this is like a grappler and And the fact that they talked one championship into that, I mean, it just shows how awesome one championship is. And I just love everything, you know, that one does over there. You know, it's not as much drama and stuff. It fits more of my personality type. But you know, and when he beat Rod-Ting, you know, he didn't look as scary for the first time. And I'm not trying to cancel Rod-Ting, or not cancel, but just meaning like make it seem like he's not anything like that. But you know, when that brother put that power on him, you know what I'm saying, and got him to the ground, it was all over. So I do understand the differences of what they say about MMA and Muay Thai and stuff like that. I definitely think that MMA is the harder sport. But I will always say that I think it takes a little bit more skill when it comes to just the Muay Thai, just in general, just because of the things I believe that you can do. And I think that you can, as far as striking, you can take Muay Thai over there in the MMA, and I think that you would probably do a little bit better than I think most striking martial arts. And so then we're going to get into Terrance McKinney's first round KO. And so now I want people to really sit up there and focus on Terrance McKinney and what he sat up there and did for his first round KO. You know, when he went, and I seen a video, and I initially thought this guy was a boxer because I didn't see his UFC shorts and stuff like that. And when I sat up there and I looked, and I was like, okay, he's never seen outside the first round. He has had 7 fights. That's certainly amazing in any sport. And I was like, okay. And so then I was like, all right, let's see what he's about tonight. I'm looking forward to his fight tonight. And he said he won. Didn't see outside the first round again. Now, there's a whole lot of goods and there's a lot of pros to this. But the one con that I have, the two problems that I have is your grappling above decent. You know, one of the people that I would love to train with or learn from is Exong Jinan from one championship who got cut recently, just because of her takedown defense, stuff like that, versus a high ranking grappler in Ayaka Mura. And then Angela Lee as well. The way that she was able to position her body, and it wasn't like she couldn't go to the ground, because she definitely could, and she can get right back up. She'll get right back up just like that. And so, my thing is, when it comes to Terrance McKinney, is when you start to face elite competition, like I said just a few seconds ago, how is his grappling? How is the grappling side going to work out? How you know, when you face somebody that is a trained wrestler like Volk, or when you go and face somebody of Dagestani and Russian culture who is heavy on grappling, or a Georgian wrestler, or you just end up having to face somebody that has really good grappling and stuff like that, how is that going to work? So like if the guy, I think they said that somebody was being racist towards him. I think like something Dover or something like that, Drew Dover or Ben Dover or something like that. And how would you do against a guy like Cooper? You know, if he was facing, and I think he got TKO'd in his fight this weekend at UFC Seattle, which I'm not saying nothing bad about. It happens. And people had nothing but good things to say about this man. So hopefully he continues to bounce back and continue to train. So that's the only thing that I have for Terrance McKinney. But overall, you know, because Conor sat up there and used to finish his fights for very, very, very fast. And then all of a sudden, you know, because I wasn't in the loop in the UFC or just martial arts in general when I was in high school, and about from 2014 to 2018. So when him and Habib or him and Islam had their fight, it was kind of, you know, it was like, you keep finishing the fights too early. And then it's like I didn't hear about him too much for real until I got into the MMA space, or at least the Muay Thai space. And then by that time, I started following other martial arts and stuff like that. And then I started to hear more about him and stuff like that again, but those fights didn't end too early. I mean, they ended early for him. So I don't want Terrance McKinney to face that same BS. You know, I want him to have an amazing career. And I ain't hating on nobody else, you know, but he's a brother, and I'm always support a brother, especially if they doing right. So now we got Joe Piper's win over Izzy, which I was not surprised about, and I'm gonna tell you why. What's up with your YouTube? And the reason why I am not excited about the Joe Piper's, first let me take that back. Joe Piper, I seen a video right before this, and I think it might have shown, but he was talking about how he dealt with some suicidal issues and stuff like that. And he almost took his own life 2 weeks ago. And then he found God. I think he said he met a young lady and stuff like that, somebody to share his life with, hopefully. And so I hope that all works out well for him, because the spotlight, you know, is going to be on him. You know, hopefully he uses this moment in his life to kind of take away from the suicidal awareness. Don't bury your problems in the back of your mind, because those will be what I like to call those. It'll just be Sheol messing with you in the back of your head. And Sheol, to me, due to what I believe in my faith, is pretty much hell, but it's not fire. It's just a void. It's just darkness. So, when I sit up there and I look at these things and stuff like that, you know, I wouldn't say to anybody who's facing suicide or anything like that, you know, please just talk to somebody. Please, you know, I understand you may feel like that you're the only person that feels this way, but don't let that be what ends you. And so when I was looking at this fight, and for some reason, just the way that the UFC was kind of promoting it and stuff like that, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying that it was shitty promotion or anything like that when what they did for this Joe Piper and Izzy fight, but for some reason the UFC and Adesanya is making it seem like, oh, we're gonna give this guy an opportunity. We're gonna see what he's about. Izzy was just basically like, he's too animated for me. Like, I watch a lot of anime. I mean, as far as like Dragon Ball, I got into looking at Solo Leveling and stuff like that, and that's just about it, because I don't like certain animes and stuff like that that are too much like showing the body, like too like sexualizing and stuff like that. I don't like that. I don't even like rap music like that, for real. And so when I sit up there and I see these things, like Izzy, the reason why I say this is because Izzy is real animated, and like what goes on in his head, he just goes and just does it and just says it no matter how it sounds. He makes it seem like he's about to go into a match and like die. Like you're not coming back, like you on a plane carrying a bomb and you don't know if you're gonna make it back or not. Bro, it's not that, bro. They're not gonna let you die in that damn ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then this fight also makes you wonder, when it comes to UFC matchmaking, why didn't you make him face a grappler in the first place? If this was best matchup versus best matchup, and he was on steroids, and when he's not on the steroids no more, since he got popped, or since everybody knew and the UFC downplayed it, helped him downplay it, how did you sit up there and get this far acting like that? Because it wasn't just your speed, or fighting like that. It wasn't just your speed and your IQ. I believe it was them damn steroids. And the same thing happens for Anderson Silva. And even though I'm a very big fan of Anderson Silva, but if you are taking steroids, you can't be my GOAT. Same thing with Habib and the rest of everything else. I'm talking about even as far as like middleweight, middleweight GOAT, stuff like that. I got to give it to somebody else. You was on steroids, bro. Like, I keep it consistent with everybody. And so I'm not hating on him. And then people must have forgot what Izzy was doing to them dogs and them pages he was following and the jokes she was making. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm not about to just look past that. I don't care how old that was. I'm not looking past that. But let's go on to Alexia Grasso's KO over Maycee Barber and why she shouldn't have talked that ish. Let's get into it. What's up, YouTube? And the reason why I think that Alexia Grasso KO over Maycee Barber was probably the finisher of the night, because you can tell when somebody trains. I mean, constantly, especially because when she sat up there and she got that knockout, she twisted around that girl like she was a snake. Like she bit her once or twice and was like, "Oh, they're trying to move away. Okay, let me go ahead and just wrap you up." And she wrapped her up within the snap of a finger. Maybe even faster. Like she seen that, oh damn, okay, this girl might try to get back up, because there was a couple of fights where I seen, I think some might have been in the UFC. I don't know if one happened in one championship or not, but I think it was the UFC. And the fighter jumped up on the side of the ring on top of the cage too early, thinking that the fight was over with, and the whole entire time the guy got up. And then the guy that jumped up on the fence, and the guy that almost got flatlined and KO'd, got up and then KO'd the dude that jumped on the fence. So that was a very classic, that was a very honorable move by Alexa Grasso. And I called this particular fight, this and the Joe Piper fight before the fight. I didn't put up a prediction because, my personal life, and I'm trying to get things, I'm trying to upload daily so that I can keep up with just other channels. I can be more authentic, and I can get into my own flow to where when I start editing and stuff and I start to build an audience over here on this channel, that then we have our fan base, and we're able to go and do something. So when I sit up there and I look at Alexia Grasso and just what she was able to do, I mean, she two-pieced this girl so goddamn fast. She was able to be home in time for breakfast. I mean, like, damn, like, she had no regard to human life. And this is why I love, and I will say it to this day, this is why I love, man, I got a lot of love and respect for Mexican people, man, because they got heart. They got heart, man, and to be honest, I don't think I ever seen a scared Mexican a day in my life. I mean, for real, I grew up on Taylor Boulevard in Louisville, Kentucky, where our neighborhood was very diverse. I mean, just like any place in the world. I mean, you're not gonna always have like too many places in the world with just one nationality, one race, and stuff like that. But we was very diverse. I mean, we had Mexicans, Africans, Black people, white people, Armenians, Iranians, and just various things like that, over in our neighborhoods and stuff like that. And we all got along. So when I was young and I found out all this stuff was going on in the world and how certain races didn't really like each other and stuff, it was very surprising to me, because I always talk to all these races of people and stuff like that. So it's nothing but respect, towards the Mexican people and stuff like that. Like I said, congratulations for what Alexia Grasso did over Maycee Barber. And Maycee Barber was talking a whole lot of smack. She was talking a lot of smack. She was talking to my female goat, Valentina Shevchenko. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, she does Muay Thai. That's my number one reason. And then number two, I think she's a baddie. Number three, I sat up there and I mean, it's just, when you sitting out there and you arguing with one of the GOATs or one of the greats in your sport and stuff like that, especially your gender and stuff,